Hey there, it's Diane Forster, and welcome to I Have Today, where we talk about the art of intentional living. The show is all about inspiring, empowering, and educating you through life's transitions. And I have a very special gentleman with me today. His name is Steven Abbey, and we were introduced by another good friend of mine. And when I heard his story and what he's up to, I thought I needed to bring him to you today because our theme today is the truth about synthetic supplements and your health. He's well accomplished. He's an entrepreneurial force and seasoned investor, is the visionary behind SOS Nutrients and a lot more. I'm going to share more about his background when he's in the studio with me. But get ready because I learned so much from him in our brief conversation. I said, I need to introduce you to our audience. They need to know about you and what you're up to because he's so passionate about it. Thriving entrepreneur and passionate about health and wellness. And I don't know if you've been watching my show. If you're new here and this is your first time, I want to say welcome. Make sure you go back and check some of our other episodes because I've been bringing on a lot of cutting edge information and new information out there on how you can really be living to your highest, greatest, fullest potential, healthy and well for your entire lifetime, and utilizing the power of nutrients in the world, the power of frequency and vibration and energy and all the cool stuff. And there's so much information coming at us all the time from outside sources about you need this new drug and this new medication and this clinical study and all of those things, when health and wellness is something that comes natural from the earth. I mean, everything that we really need is here. And in this self-correcting vehicle, you've got to treat it right and you've got to trust it. So, when Steven said to me that, there's so many synthetics in the supplements and the formulas and the protein powders and the vitamins and the minerals that we're taking out there, I never even thought about that. And so if you're putting something fake in your body, it's not going to have a good reaction, right? So we're going to talk about that plus way more because what he's doing is cutting edge technology, and you're absolutely going to love it. All right, so our intention statement this week is, I have today to give my body the absolute best nutrients. You are what you eat. You are what you put in your body. So I have today to give my body the absolute best nutrients. Every single week on this show, we have an intention statement. And what my team does is they make a beautiful graphic for you. And it's on the screen right now. And where you can find that is if you hop on over to Instagram at my page, Diane Forster Official, there's a little button on my profile that says intention statements. And this beautiful graphic is already there. And what I want you to do is I want you to take a screenshot of it and use it as your screensaver for the entire week so that every time you look at your phone, you are reminded of this. And that's how we make lasting, positive, permanent change, is by creating new rituals and habits. And so that's our little contribution to you. So make sure you hop over there. And when you're over there, if you're not following me, if you feel called to it, give me a follow. I'd love to get to know you. All right. Okay. So I want to bring Steven up right away. But before we do that, let's hear a word from our sponsor, the Spifter. This week's episode of I Have Today is brought to you by the Spifter. The Spifter is a fun sifting spoon that makes cooking, baking, and decorating with sugars and spices so much fun. No more mess or wasting your spices. It's fast, clean, and easy. Everything looks and tastes delicious. It's also great for straining loose tea, getting pesky broken cork out of your wine glass, and draining liquid off food like olives and capers. Whether you're a novice cook or a gourmet chef, you'll love the results. The Spifter, the kitchen gadget that no kitchen should be without. Well, hello, Steven. How are you today?
Good. How you doing, Diane?
I'm doing great. It is so good to see you.
Great to be on.
Great. All right. Well, let me tell the audience a little bit about you before we get into our conversation. Steven Abbey, an entrepreneurial force and seasoned investor, is the visionary behind SOS Nutrients. Established in October of 2022, SOS Nutrients is a Santa Barbara-based supplement company revolutionizing the industry. Unlike 95% of the products on the market, SOS Nutrients sets itself apart by utilizing whole foods to deliver comprehensive micronutrient nutrition entirely devoid of synthetic ingredients. With a remarkable track record, Steven has made significant contributions to various industries. He co-owned Neighborhood Power Inc., a Hawaii-based solar development company boasting an impressive $40 million in signed back orders in 2016. As the owner and co-founder of Allied Logistics, a Ventura-based aerospace manufacturing and exporting firm, he led the company to win the esteemed Small Business Exporter of the Year award in 2003. Additionally, Steven co-owned Hayden Industries, a former division of Honeywell specializing in heat exchanger and manufacturing. He has so much more on this list that we're going to talk about. My goodness, do you ever sleep? That's so impressive. Wow.
Well, thank you. Yeah. No, they just have done a bunch of things, but the stuff that I'm doing now is really my passion. Those were just kind of businesses that I got involved with, mostly because I liked the people I was getting involved with and I liked doing business. But but this was finally I came to, I just love health and healing. Like, to me, that gets me jazzed, especially seeing people that are willing to make changes and seeing how much that they can change in their life.
So true. Well, I love every bit of that. And I feel the same way about my platform. I love doing this, and this helps people, creating a platform to spread the word. So talk a little bit about how you went down this road, given your background, and what made you make the decision? What did something happen in your life with health or wellness? What's your story?
You mean, how did I end up here? Yeah. So I started off extremely, I was really running into a lot of things health wise. I had reactive hypoglycemia. I had a really serious case of psoriasis. I had, I had chronic fatigue. I was not doing well at all. And I didn't look healthy. I was 129 pounds. I'm 155 and I'm not heavy. I mean, I was really walking around and I knew something was wrong and I wasn't getting anywhere when I went to medical doctors. And so I ended up just doing all of this research on my own, where I just was going down these paths. And then once I'd kind of solved my own issues, I started looking at, what is all this on cancer? What is all this on heart disease? What is all this on diabetes, et cetera, et cetera? And I was just fascinated. And I've been, for whatever reason, just drawn to researching. And, most people geek out on other things. I geek out on studies. And so I've been doing it for 30 years. And what got me into this business is, so I'd been studying it, and then I was helping 3 friends in the last last months of their life. They got very sick and they needed a support group around them. And I was part of that team. And when my friend died this last time, it was so devastating. I was like, okay, these are preventable diseases that people are dying from. And yet they're not, and there's so much evidence on what can be done, and people don't know about it. Doctors don't seem to know about it. Even naturopathic doctors, a lot of times it's becoming much more known, but it's still way in the background. So, and I didn't see a single good product on the market that was easy in terms of comprehensive in nature, really covering everything and having it all from whole foods, because there's a drastic difference between a synthetic nutrient and a whole food nutrient that covers the same thing, right? So I went out, and as it turns out, it was a very difficult product and process. So it took me years to figure out and fly all over the place and learn and put it together in a way, and then to do tests on it. So, which I've been doing for the last almost 2 years.
Yes. And when we spoke, you said, you travel to all the depths and corners of the world for the, the nutrients that are in SOS. So, and it's taken you years to do this. So I know, you know what, I hear you and I feel the same way. And I think that more and more people have to ask more questions, do more research. Don't take a doctor or a therapist or even a naturopath's word at its word. Do your own, do your own research. Tap into your intuition too. If something's not right, you're the only one that really knows that. So to empower themselves, right? So when you started down this path and you were getting yourself well, on your journey, what did you start to discover first? What did you start to notice at first? What started healing first?
Well, there were I mean, once I figured out and stepped into it, everything started getting better. So I'm 58 years old now. And when I've been keeping track of my blood numbers, I have these huge, thick, binders full of all my information. So just to give you one idea, my testosterone level today is substantially higher than it was when I was 30 years old. So
Wow.
normally men lose about 1% a year, but
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be that way. It's a nutrient deficiency. And that nutrient, the main nutrient, there are others, but the main nutrient is zinc. And the thing is and by the way, testosterone is important for women too. It's critically important.
Yes.
And it is created from zinc as well. So if you're deficient in zinc, it affects for both men and women their sexual function. It affects everything. For men, it's actually a more important thing in terms of overall muscle mass and all of these other things. For women, it's much more of their satisfaction with sex and things like that. So that's the kind of the thing. But I was critically low in zinc, and so my testosterone level was too low. And so that's probably part of the reason why I weigh more now. I'm in better shape. I don't get tired. I'm just in better health, right? Overall. But that's one thing. I mean, I'm doing so many things in terms of my nutrient levels, and I keep track of that. There's a Vibrant America test, which is a micronutrient test, which not only looks at the serum levels of all your nutrients, all the vitamins, all the minerals, all the antioxidants, all the amino acids, all the fatty acids, et cetera, and the metabolites. And then it also looks at the white blood cell amounts of those. And you can get a really good picture of where you stand nutritionally. And I've been testing that several times and I've got a perfect score right now.
Wow.
And it's the difference between having your nutrients in line and not having your nutrients in line. Depending on what nutrients are out, can make a huge difference.
I love that. And what is the name of that test?
It's Vibrant America. If you want, I'll send you a link so you can, but it's their micronutrient test. It's not a perfect test, but it is a very good indicator of where somebody stands. And then they give ratings in terms of all the different, like your bone health, and all these nutrients are directly connected with your bone health, your cognitive function, all these nutrients, right? And so they're going to give you a rating on each of those as it pertains to the whole thing. Now, the problem with the test is that the reference ranges are too big in some cases, but it's a good indicator of where you stand overall.
That is great. That you can do that and should do that. Everybody should do that. Everyone should know this. I guess have some baseline, some place to start. And I didn't know about zinc and testosterone. I would think it would be, bee pollen or something else. You know what I mean? Not zinc. When I think of zinc, I think of skin, right?
Yeah. And immunity.
Yeah. Yes. So you're based in Santa Barbara and you're doing this research. What is it that you want? Where would you like to see this go? SOS Nutrients. where would you like to take this?
What I would like to do is continue to develop the conversation with people that are truly motivated to help them, because this is one basic product to really cover the base areas of somebody that really wants to be healthy, right? Now, if somebody has diabetes, it's not specifically designed to turn around diabetes. But if I sat down with that person, I would tell them to take all of these things like berberine, like black cumin seed, like additional turmeric, like amla, et cetera, et cetera. So then you can dial them in. And I'm telling you, in their blood sugar is going to get better. Now, will it solve it? Maybe, maybe not. I'll tell you though, it will get better. And the thing is these are all natural substances. It doesn't mean that natural substances are always perfect or anything, but these have a safety unlike almost any pharmaceutical. And they have now many clinical studies. Like amla studies are, do you know what amla is by any chance?
No, I don't.
Indian gooseberries. It's a Ayurvedic nutrient. But in a study done, and again, when I see studies, I take these with a grain of salt, but I've used these with people that have diabetes. And so the study basically lowered people that were clearly diabetic. They had a fasting blood sugar that was over 120. And in the end, they had a fasting blood sugar under 100. So they were clinically started out as diabetics and ended without diabetes. And we were talking about tiny amount. It's only a teaspoon a day. That was it of amla powder. So I know that sounds crazy, and I won't even say that that alone is going to do it, but amla powder is fantastic. Berberine was put head to head against metformin in a study, and it came out identical in terms of how much the impact was, et cetera. All of these things. It's really fascinating to me. You can see I get fired up on this stuff.
I absolutely love this conversation. And I recently started taking berberine. And the reason I wanted to take it is because what I heard may or may not be true. And I think I'm taking a high quality one, but I could be wrong. I should go check the bottle. Is that it can produce the same results as Ozempic, that everybody's on the Ozempic bandwagon. You know, all these people have lost all this weight, especially in Hollywood, and that berberine is a way to do it much more naturally. And it's not about the losing weight, but it is about balancing. So tell me as the researcher and the expert, what does berberine do?
Well, I don't know the mechanism of action, to be quite honest.
Oh, okay.
I've just seen the studies done, and there have been now multiple studies done on it where it has this amazing impact on the post-perennial state. In other words, after eating, where does your blood sugar go and your fasting blood sugar? So it had an impressive impact on it. So for people that have high blood sugar, whether it's pre-diabetic or diabetic, taking berberine is a great first step. There are multiple things that I would do. If somebody has an A1C, which is kind of the industry standard for looking at a 3-month period of time, roughly, of blood sugar. If somebody has like a 5.6, 5.7 is considered pre-diabetic, but 5.6 or even 5.5, you might want to start doing something like berberine. And if you're getting into pre-diabetic, you might want to do a bunch of things. You do not want to let that go into diabetes. Reversing something is much more difficult than stopping it from ever happening. And I mean, the studies done on berberine and amla and turmeric, curcumin and turmeric, are amazing. Even black cumin seed as well. There are other things. Reishi mushrooms had an amazing result. So if somebody puts these together, usually when I work with somebody, I have them do multiple things because I don't know how they're going to respond, and they're not doing things that are likely to have any type of interaction with each other. They're literally food stuff. So that's the way I do it.
Right. And when you are on medication, you know, they're designed to help alleviate pain or stop or prevent, not really prevent, but you know what I'm saying, to help alleviate whatever the symptom is. But there's always some other cause of some other problem with it. You know, at least that's been my history and what I've seen. It's always, you see these older people, not old people, but older people with all these medicine bottles. And I know my father he has myasthenia gravis, not easy to say. And he's been on blood pressure medication, and he's had some other things. And it just breaks my heart that there's the response is typically, well, I'll just take a pill, or I'll just go to the doctor, and they just believe whatever the doctor says. And I'm not saying anything negative about the medical industry. I really believe that most people have good intentions, maybe not the right intentions, but good intentions, but they're just not knowledgeable enough or open enough. And so that's why I love having this conversation. So what is the first thing someone should do if they want to start taking, I think I know the answer to this, because I think you're going to say you can go get your blood work done, or go take a test. But to find out if they've got something going on, because they're maybe women. Let's just do women right now, because most of our audience is women, and most of our audience is women over 40, and we're going through menopause and hormonal changes, and we're tired, and our skin is crepier, and low energy, maybe bad sleep. What should she do first versus going to get hormone therapy?
Well, I'll jump.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, what I was going to say is what you were saying before that is you were talking about somebody like your father taking all these pills. What ends up happening is it's playing whack-a-mole, and you're just trying to deal with all of these symptoms. But in the end, when somebody is on 10 or 12 or 14 or pharmaceuticals, those interactions start having real consequences, and you start taking pills to deal with the symptoms of the other pills, not of the original thing. And if the more you can get at the root cause of that, the better, because then you're actually dealing with true health, as opposed to really just suppressing some type of symptom. I mean, when you're talking about your father, so many of the things like the hypertensive drugs have really bad side effects. That's why so few people actually continue to take them. But in terms of how would women go to really find out what they need? So the first thing is you need to find, in my opinion, a really good doctor that has a very good natural training. So if they are a true MD, but if you can't, I would really look to find either an osteopath or a naturopath or a nutritionist that is really well versed, and it's not, hopefully, is looking outside of the box, because there's so much information out there, it gets confusing. But if then whatever symptoms they have, let's say they're having these fatigue symptoms, you're going to be there are very specific things that you are going to be testing for. If somebody is having blood sugar issues, there are very specific things that you're testing. If somebody just wants to check, how am I doing? I mean, overall, I feel relatively healthy, and I'm all these things. Then there are things that I would do it depends on how good the insurance is, how much somebody's willing to spend, and how good the doctor is or the nutritionist is in terms of really looking outside of the box. I'll give you an example. Almost nobody seems to test for the antioxidant status of someone. And yet antioxidant is crucial in terms of how that impacts somebody's overall health. So another thing, in just standard testing, a lot of times doctors don't seem to look at inflammation. There's something called high sensitivity C-reactive protein. And it'll be little hs dash, then CRP. And that is a good indicator of your systemic inflammation. There's also something called IL-6. There's sedimentation rate. Even you look at a white blood count, and that gives you an indicator of your inflammation. But if you really want to know how your inflammation, your chronic inflammation throughout your body is doing, you really want to get that figured out. Those are just easy things. But in terms of there are all sorts of things like that. There's a NutriVal test that's put out by Genova, which is a good functional overall test. That's a good starting place. I like the Vibrant America test that I talked about, but it really depends on what somebody's willingness. A lot of these things are not going to be covered by insurance, and they're not inexpensive. The test for inflammation and for antioxidants, those aren't very expensive. And if you get a metabolic lab, which and a CBC, which is like your white blood cell and all your lymphocytes and all of that sort of thing, those are simple, and those are going to tell you like how overall a lot of your systems are doing. But if you really want to look at what's going on in your body, those functional tests are really key.
That's so good, Steven. And the thing is, what's the price? What price do you want to pay? And I know they might be pricey or, not inexpensive, but at the same time, what is it costing you in the long run, right? In other ways. I tell that to people all the time who people don't want to invest in whatever it is they need, whether it's health and wellness or coaching or advancement. You're paying a price. You are paying a price. So this is such good information. Do you, what's been your biggest struggle or challenge in this space? You versus the medical industry or, corporations, if any of that's ever come up for you. You got a lot of corporate background too. So is there resistance to what you're doing?
Well, there's an educational thing. So I'll talk about this, and there's a huge educational piece. Most people don't even really understand that these products are synthetic and these are natural. They're not aware of it, and they're never going to choose the product that's natural because it's going to be way more expensive. Just to give you an idea, my zinc, which is from an organic guava leaf extract, which is a very unique product, costs 35 times more than zinc oxide or zinc gluconate. These are synthetics, right? My organic freeze-dried blend of berries is where I get my vitamin C, and it's over 25 times more expensive than ascorbic acid, which is, most people don't even have any idea. And then when they think, oh, well, what's ascorbic acid? It's in everything, right? It's in all these products. But the way ascorbic acid is manufactured, so it all used to be made in a plant in New Jersey. All of that's gone over to China now. 95% of the world's supply is made over there. They take high fructose corn syrup, mostly GMO, unless it specifically says otherwise. They put it under incredible pressure, incredible heat. They do an acetone wash, and then they neutralize it with hydrochloric acid. And in the end, they have a molecule that is chemically identical to what you find in nature. However, it will not work the same as in nature because it doesn't have all the cofactors, doesn't have all the flavonoids, and all of these other things. So it's like if I drove over to your house, and so I took my car there, right? So if I just had an engine, which says the ascorbic acid, without the steering wheel and the wheels and everything like that, wouldn't be able to go there, right? That is the same with ascorbic acid. If somebody is dying of scurvy and they took 1,000 milligrams of ascorbic acid, the RDA is 90 for men and 75 for women. But if they took 1,000 milligrams, it would not even stop the progression of that disease. It might slow it down a little bit, but it wouldn't stop it, and you would still die of scurvy because it is not the same. It needs those cofactors and bioflavonoids and all of those other things. Otherwise, it doesn't work. And you don't need actually the RDA to keep from getting scurvy. Scurvy is at the very tail end of deficiency, where you actually will die of it.
Really?
Yeah.
What causes it? I don't even know what causes it.
Oh, I'm sorry. Scurvy is the deficiency of vitamin C. It's the reason why if you look at in the old sailors, they were the English ones were called limeys because they used all this citrus, which has vitamin C in it, and that's when they finally figured it out that vitamin C is what they didn't actually know it was vitamin C. It wasn't isolated till the 20s, but they knew that this had a substance that kept them from getting scurvy. So they were called limeys because they brought limes and lemons and all this other stuff all over the world, and it kept them from getting scurvy.
Wow. Oh my God, you are just a wealth of information. This is amazing. This is amazing.
Thank you.
All right. Well, Steven, I want to ask you two more questions. We're going to have information, everyone who's watching or listening to this show, on ways to find out more about Steven Abbey and get his products. And I will give you a testimonial right now. I started using it a couple of weeks ago. Thank you so much for the gift of sending it to me. And I have noticed some changes in me too. And our family, we've got GI stuff going on. I had a colon resection about 12 years ago. My mother died of colon cancer, and my father had his resection. And so that's a big area, of concern for us in our family. And I feel so much better. I really feel, I feel like I'm flushing in a way. It's only been a couple of weeks, but I really feel a difference. So I just wanted to tell you that. So thank you so much. I'm going to keep taking it every day. But before we get into the information on how to find out more about you, I want to ask you two questions that I ask every guest. And the first question is, how do you live the I have today way, which is intentionally in the present moment? And if you could start it with, I have today too.
So I have today too, and what I do is, so I'm part of a group called Action Coaching Teams, and we set up our intention for the week. And every day I look at those intentions and I set up my intentions for the day. And it sounds rigid, but it doesn't take me more than a couple of minutes. And the ability to stay on point with getting things done or where I want to go. So now I have, if you don't have a plan, you're going to get there. It's just, where are you going to get to? It's not guided. But if you have a real clear, concise plan, I need that. Otherwise I will flounder. So for me, I set it up, and I've been doing this for years, and it's so helpful. And a friend of mine is the one that runs this group. He does several groups of this, and it's just so helpful. It's not expensive, and it's just this great way to stay on point.
Love it. So I guess you would say I have today to set my daily intentions, which yes. I love. Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's what our show is all about. The art of intentional living. That's great. All right. And Steven, what do you wish more people knew?
Well, I would say the biggest thing that I would wish is how much incredible power they have over their own health. And I hate to say it, there's so much, I would say, giving away of power on somebody's health. And I've found that we are often giving it away to the wrong people. And to really spend, I know most people don't really like looking into studies and things like that. It's really hard, but to really choose wisely on that, because your health, just small little subtle things can make a ginormous difference. Like, there's so many things. I could go on for hours, but I'll just say, so I've helped several people, as I said, at the ends of their life, dying of cancer. And I'll just say one thing. There's so many things that I could go into, but one little small thing is, if somebody ate cruciferous vegetables, which are like broccoli, cauliflower, bok choy, kale, et cetera, if somebody ate cruciferous vegetables 4 times a week compared to somebody that ate it 1 time or less, in this huge meta-analysis, it basically dropped your risk of having any cancer by 35%. Now, that if you really were worried about cancer, you could up that easily by having broccoli sprouts, which have 10 to 100 times the active ingredient, which is something called sulforaphane, and it's amazingly anti-cancerous. So if somebody is truly worried about cancer, if they grow broccoli sprouts, I know nobody wants to do this, but it's actually kind of fun. It's easy. It's not hard, but you grow broccoli sprouts and you put it in everything, and it's a way of really just in a simple way lowering that risk. But there's 100 things I could go into, but that's just such a low-hanging fruit.
Wow. So the gist of it is that we all have the power, and that's what we're all about here at I Have Today. This is about empowering you in your own life. And what you brought today was just fantastic. Honestly, I'm so grateful to know you. I'm so impressed by you. I'm so overwhelmed by all the information in the best way, and I feel like that's the thing. You've got 30 years of researching and studying and traveling the world and breaking things down and helping people. And it's not always easy. It might be simple, but it's not easy to start taking control of this stuff. You've really got to empower yourself to do it. So thank you for making it simple for people to at least start on a path. And I know that you've got a discount coupon for our audience of your SOS, your protein shake formula, right? Is that what the product is? Yep.
It's a micronutrient powder. It's an organic micronutrient powder. So yeah, and it's really geared towards covering not just the RDA micronutrients, but really all the critical components like mushrooms, like if you actually go down the path of really learning about mushroom, I could go on and on, but it's a very comprehensive. It's not just a greens powder or a berry blend or mushrooms. It's everything. So it's all in one. And then if you mix it into a really healthy smoothie, you have literally life-changing results.
Life-changing. Yes. So you don't even have to understand what you're doing. Just know what you're doing is very, very good for you. Very, very good for you. So, all right. Well, we have a link for that. We're going to show that. And the discount code is today20. So you're going to get 20% off today. So make sure you go to that link, and we'll have this in the show notes as well. Well, Steven, it's been a pleasure having you here today. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you.
Thank you for having me. I really enjoyed it.
Yes. Well, I know we'll be in touch. We've got more things to do together.
Sounds good. Thank you very much for having me. Bye-bye.
You're welcome. My pleasure. Take care. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Incredible. I'm blown away. I don't know if you're blown away, but I am definitely going to go get that test, and I'm going to start measuring myself as well. And you should do it too. And I feel like what he said about testosterone, then he's got, he's healthier and his levels are higher now than he was half his age ago. Incredible, just incredible. Anyway, all right. So as we get ready to wrap up the show, I just wanted to tell you about an opportunity for you to learn about hosting your own TV show. That's what we've been doing. I just recently launched my podcast, Be a TV Star Host, where there's free information there. But I also am going to give you the opportunity to spend 30 minutes with me in a breakthrough session where we can see if TV hosting is something that's for you. I've been helping hundreds of people launch their own TV shows. I've got an academy for you and some free trainings for you. And so if that's something that you're interested in learning about, and you get to meet amazing people like Steven Abbey and interview people like this and bring your amazing work into the world, then I'm going to invite you to go to tvstarhost.com/apply, tvstarhost.com/apply. All right, so with our last remaining couple of minutes, we are going to do our mantra meditation. So if you are driving, obviously you can't close your eyes, but for everybody else, this is our time to anchor in everything that we learned from Steven today and the topic that we talked about, and leave the show feeling better at the end than you did at the beginning, so that you're shifted, you're for the better. You're more knowledgeable. You can take what we talked about today and it can really anchor inside of you. So that's what we're going to do. So here I'll walk you through it, and we'll, all you need to do is then listen to my words. So we're going to do 2 breaths. We're going to breathe in through our nose for 4 seconds and pull that all the way down to your root chakra, your tailbone area. You're going to hold it for the count of 8. And as you're holding it and counting, I want you to send energy. Imagine each one of your energy centers, your chakras, is lighting up, because all of your chakras are connected to all of your body too. So while you want to be smart with your nutrients and nutrition, use the power and force, the life force, the prana energy and intention to help heal yourself too, because your energy centers, your chakras, are connected to everything in your body too. So double bonus. So once you do that and you count to 8, just imagine that they're lighting up, and I'm talking your root chakra, sacral, solar plexus, heart, throat, third eye, crown, and your soul star. It's about a foot above your head. It's your quantum point. It's the place where you receive information. If you're highly intuitive, you understand this, but trust me, clears the path to getting the messages. And then you're going to breathe out for the count of 8. And when you're breathing out, I want you to do it diaphragmatically and as if you're blowing out birthday candles. So get everything up and out of you. Any toxic memory, feelings, emotions, trapped trauma, anything that might be settled in your body, because you know what? That causes disease too. And so breathe it all out. And we're going to do that 2 times, and then just listen to my words. All right? So get grounded, feet uncrossed, close your eyes. You can put your hands on your lap, face down if you feel grounded, or flip them up if you feel like you want to receive more energy. And here we go. Breathe in through your nose for the count of 4. Hold it and send the energy for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And breathe it out for 8. Feels so good. Let's do that one more time. Breathe in for the count of 4. Hold it and send the energy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And breathe it out. I have today to love my life. Something really good is going to happen to me today. I can feel it. Miracles big and small. I notice them all. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you. I have today to give my body the absolute best nutrients. I understand that I am in the power, and I can't not know what I know now because of what I learned today. There's just too much information out there. I'm going to be more curious and more empowered in my health and wellness journey. I'm not just going to take things at face value. I am going to utilize all the resources that are available, and I'm going to tap into those each and every day from this day forward. I'm going to understand what things work for me. I'm going to find the right practitioners, the right products, the right services, and I'm going to pay attention to my body and how I'm feeling. And so each and every day, that is the way I'm going to live from this moment on, and so it is. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, so that's it for this week's episode of I Have Today. I want to thank my guest, Steven Abbey, for being here. Thank you for all you do in the world. Make sure that you're following us here at I Have Today, and you can find us at E360 TV. Our new time is Thursdays at 7 p.m. Pacific time, and you can find us on all social media at I Have Today with Diane Forster and Diane Forster Official. We'll see you next time. Take care.